everyone. It's Robert from On My Turntable. Hoping you had a great morning this morning. It is Friday morning. As always, a coffee kind of morning. I need to get more coffee. Having a hell of a time starting this video. I've tried it like 5 times already. I keep messing up. I don't know why. Maybe I should abandon it for later. But let's get through this. So my introduction to this band that I'm going to speak about is way up in their 7th studio album when I was 13 years old. I think if I recall back, because that was a while ago, a couple years ago, this was my 2nd album that I ever bought. This is not the original, but I was introduced to We're an American Band by Grand Funk. My first introduction was Machine Head by Deep Purple. So I was right into classic rock at the time. So I'm here today, and I was just blown away by this album, for sure. So I'm here today to talk about Grand Funk Railroad, or Grand Funk, and my Grand Funk collection, as, again, they're very much favorites of mine, being introduced to them at such an early age. It wasn't until later that I got most of their studio albums, but I think they're fantastic. Underrated, for sure. Maybe not the most tightest band ever, but their music that they put out and their heart and soul that they put into their music was fantastic. So Grand Funk, or Grand Funk Railroad, American rock band formed in Flint, Michigan, way back in 1969, and that's the period I'm going to focus on, between 1969 and 1976. You have Mark Farner on lead vocals, guitar, and keyboards and harmonica, Don Brewer on lead vocals and drums, and Mel Schacher on bass. Definitely two different styles of vocals. Don Brewer, a deeper baritone type of voice. Mark Farner, a higher voice, but they two worked well together. In 1972, they added a keyboardist in Craig Frost. He was with the band called the Fabulous Pack, and he was hired full-time. That kind of freed up Mark Farner from playing keyboards. He was more focused on his guitar at the time. Remarkably, and I wish it would have been true to happen, they tried to get Peter Frampton, who was with Humble Pie. Can you imagine Peter Frampton in the band? 2 lead guitarists, 3 lead vocalists. That would be like that'd be like a Humble Pie or a Thin Lizzy. I mean, it just would have been fantastic. But unfortunately, or fortunately in his part, he had signed a solo deal with A&M Records, so he wasn't available. But when they brought Craig Frost on, it changed the style of their music from more of a garage-based hard rock band to more rhythm and blues, more rock-oriented, more pop-oriented. And he also co-wrote quite a few of the tracks as well. But they were super successful between 69 and 76. Big hits like We're an American Band, I'm Your Captain, Closer to Home, This Kind of Wonderful, or Some Kind of Wonderful. See, there I go. I'm messing up my video already. Walk Like a Man, The Loco-Motion, Bad Time, Inside Looking Out. They released 6 platinum albums and 7 gold albums during 69 and 76. Unfortunately, though, just like other bands, a lot of dissension in the group later on and disillusionment within the group. I don't know if it was egos or drugs or what the heck it was going on. They weren't happy with the style of music that they were putting out, with the producer, all kinds of stuff going on. A lot of people blamed Mark Farner for their first breakup in 76, but it was actually, according to Mark Farner, Don Brewer. He had just lost his first wife. He was going through a lot of stuff at that time, and basically one day he walked into the studio, said, "I'm done. I need to find something in my life more stable." And he walked out, slammed the door, and that was pretty much it. You know, he would come back, and then there was other stuff going on. I'm not even going to get into that because it would take forever. Legal stuff and all kinds of, wow, it's just remarkable what went on within this band. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to celebrate their music. Again, mainly between 1969 and 1976. I've got pretty much every album of theirs. I think I'm missing one studio album within that time period, but I'll find it one day. But I've got their debut On Time, 1969 release. Producer Terry Knight on this one. You got Mark Farner on guitar, piano, harmonica, and vocals, Mel Schacher on bass, and Don Brewer on drums and vocals. It's on the Yellow Capitol label. This is fantastic, fantastic debut. Are you ready? Anybody's Answer, Time Machine, High on a Horse, TNUC. Say that 10 times fast. Into the Sun, Heartbreaker, Call Yourself a Man, Can't Be Too Long, Ups and Downs. Heartbreaker's a fantastic, fantastic album. Or sorry, fantastic song. See? Anyway, I searched high and low for this one. I finally found it. I think I found it at a record show in Oshawa, Ontario. This is their Red Album, or Grand Funk, the second album, 1969. Only 4 months after their debut album was released that they brought this one out. Again, on that Capitol label. This is a great, great album. Cover's kind of worn, but it's still, the vinyl sounds great. Got this thing on the move. Please Don't Worry, Highfalutin Woman, Mr. Limousine Driver, In Need, Winter and My Soul, Paranoid, and Inside Looking Out. Fantastic, fantastic album. Then you've got their third, Closer to Home. Okay, 1970 release. Another gold album. And inside the cover is them at a live show in, where was it? Madison Square Gardens. Okay. Again, it's on that Capitol label. You've got Sin's a Good Man's Brother, Aimless Lady, Nothing is the Same, Mean Mistreater, one of my favorites, Get It Together, I Don't Have to Sing the Blues, Hooked on Love, and the amazing I'm Your Captain, 9 minutes and 47 seconds. Awesome album. Awesome album. Then we have Survivor, the fourth album by the band, 1971 release. Okay. I think the live album might have come out before this one. Did it? Did the live album come out? Because it came out in 1970. Maybe I got this backwards. Let me just change that for a second here before I get into Survivor. Yeah, so I don't have the live. I thought I had the live album. I looked high and low for the live album. I've seen Larry Graves show it quite a bit. 1970 release. There's a photo of it here. Fantastic, fantastic live album. I need to get it. I do have Survivor, as I just said. The fourth album by the band. Don Brewer wasn't happy with the drum sounds, as Terry Knight would make him cover his drum heads with tea towels, just like Ringo Starr did in Let It Be. He said they sounded crappy on that Capitol label. But another fine, fine album. Country Road, All You've Got Is Money, Comfort Me, Feeling All Right, great cover. I Want Freedom, I Can Feel Him in the Morning, and another great cover, Give Me Shelter by the Stones. Then you got E Purbalus Funk, this cool design. Hard to sleeve this one, but you've got Grand Funk Radio. Grand Funk Railroad on the front cover, and Shea Stadium on the back. 1971 release, the fifth album by the band. Again, a cool design. There's the album there. It's on the gray Capitol label or the silver Capitol label, but it's you get foot stomping music. Great track, foot stomping music. People, let's stop the war. Upsetter, sorry. Come tumbling, save the land, no lies and loneliness. Man, I'm messing up. Why am I messing up so much? Why am I messing up? Am I talking too fast? Jesus. Just trying to get through this video. Great album. Great album. And then you have Phoenix, the 6th album by the band, 1972 release. This was the first without Terry Knight. Produced by the band. Big hit Rock and Roll Soul on this one. Craig Frost was a guest musician. He wasn't a full-time member yet of this. This is on that yellow Capitol label again. But great album, Phoenix. As I mentioned earlier, this is my introduction to the band. We're an American band. The 7th album by the band, 1973 release. Craig Frost becomes an official member of the band. This is fantastic. That's when they came up with that logo. This is just fantastic, as I said. You've got We're an American Band, Stop Looking Back, Creepin', Black Licorice. Black Licorice, to me, sounds like a Humble Pie song. Got that same rhythm to it. And then you got the Railroad, the Funky Railroad. Ain't Got Nobody, Walk Like a Man. Amazing album. And Loneliest Rider. I love the theme of that song, for sure. Fantastic album. Fantastic. Then we have Sean and On. Bit of a departure for the band. More of a pop-oriented album. My original album had the 3D glasses. It's hard to find one with the 3D glasses anymore, as this is a 3D cover. 1974 release. Not as successful as We're an American Band, but you did have a cover of the Loco-Motion, which was the first single, topped the charts for the band. Cool design of the label, but again, not as successful as We're an American Band, but still enjoyable. This was my second album I ever bought by the group. Again, more 3D. Spent more time looking at the album covers, because you'd go to the movies and get a 3D glasses and you just stare at the cover. But just like anyone else, they've taken the glasses out of this one. And then you got All the Girls in the World Beware, the 9th album. This was the second album released in 1974. Some Kind of Wonderful was a big hit off of this one. And yeah, this was Mark Farner was getting divorced for his wife, so he wrote the track Bad Time. This was all kinds of bodybuilders on here. The bodies of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Lou Ferrigno and a couple other people. Weird album cover, but not a bad album. Just got this one recently. This is the only CD I have by the band, and it's a HM CD with all kinds of Japanese stuff going on. This is Caught in the Act, 1975, the second live album by the band. And features the Funkettes, Lorraine Feather and John Giglio. But you got foot stomping music, Rock and Roll Soul, I'm Your Captain, Closer to Home. You got Black Licorice, The Railroad, We're an American Band, Heartbreaker, Some Kind of Wonderful, Shining On, The Loco-Motion, TNUC, Inside Looking Out, and Gimme Shelter. Fantastic album. Happy to have this. I wish prefer it on vinyl for sure, but I had it way back in the day. That's when I went through my stupid phase and got rid of all my albums. I don't have Born to Die, the 10th album by the band. That's the only album with studio album within that time period that I don't have. 1976 release. More of a darker album, more of a somber album. Focus on death and politics and personal relationships. Mark Farner wrote about the Born to Die was about his cousin dying in a motorcycle accident. And also he had some love interest going on with Sally Kellerman at the time. So again, a darker album. I don't have it. I've never seen it in the wild. And the last album I have is Good Singin', Good Playin', the 11th album by the band, 1976 release. The band had actually broken up at this time, but Frank Zappa, who produced the album, tried his heart out to get the band back together again. And it was hard to do that. Basically, on the first day of overdubs, they split up again, and he tried till like 4 a.m. to keep the band together. But it was also the final album to feature Mel Schacher and Craig Frost. But this one happens to be on the MCA label. But not a bad album. Not a bad album. And they released 2 more studio albums at the time. You've got... where is it here? Grand Funk Lives, the 12th album, 1981 release. It was the first album since they broke up in 76. It did not feature Mel Schacher. It did not feature Craig Frost. Instead, you've got bassist Dennis Belanger and Lance Duncan Ong on keyboards. I think that's how you pronounce it. Queen Bee, the title track, or the track, sorry, was featured in Heavy Metal, the 1981 film Heavy Metal. You got Mark Farner on guitar, piano, and vocals, Lance Duncan Ong on keyboards and synthesizer, Dennis Belanger on bass and vocals, and Don Brewer on drums and vocals. And the 13th album and the final album so far to date, 1983 release, is What's Funk. Even though they continued to tour, this was their most recent album, 1983. So again, Mark Farner on guitar, lead, and backing vocals and keyboards, Dennis Belanger on bass and backing vocals, and Don Brewer, of course, on drums and backing and lead vocals and percussion. So there you have it, guys. There's my look at Grand Funk Railroad, an amazing band, American hard rock band for sure. And that's it. Have yourself a great rest of the day. Take care. Love you. Bye-bye now.